funding bill that they're trying to go ahead. Okay, original, let me go ahead and let you come up in here. We're a little bit slow tonight, but normally we already have more people up in here, so hopefully it won't be long before we start getting people coming in. How you doing, original?
Doing great about yourself.
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, bro. I'm just, like I say, just ready and eager to start the actual space. A little bit slow tonight than what it's normally. Normally, you know what I'm saying, we already have people up in here ready to go. So hopefully it won't be too much longer, man. What do you think about Congress and the $12 billion that they're trying to stuff into the funding bill to give Ukraine?
I mean, I think it's outrageous. And I think for the most part, when I see most black people, they won't say anything because they are allowing fear to be invoked within them. Because I've had conversation with people who are Democrats, and they tend to say, "Well, I would rather have the Democrats saying than the Republicans." But I said, "But they're not doing anything for you." I said, "Look at these people." I said, "Look at all the black candidates that are running for public office, except for the Dr. Shirley Weber out in California. She's about the only one who is mentioning, well, her and I would say Marcel Dixon. They're the only two that I know of that are mentioning lineage-based reparations for the descendants of the black enslaved. And I think they have worn these people down so badly to whereby they feel obligated to uphold this lie that that has been presented before them. They're saying, well, if the Republicans get in, they're going to do this and do that. But I said, look, I look at it like this. When people always say the lesser of two evils, I look at evil like poison. Whether it's less or more, it will still kill you. And I don't think they're looking at it from that perspective because they're just looking at it, well, we got to go out and vote Democrat. There's an organization called the People's Agenda. They sent me a text message, wanted me to come and sit for dinner and stuff, but I'm like, look, I don't have time for it because I know what your platform is. But I sent them a message back stating that due to the lack of support from black candidates, that would not be exercising my right to vote. And I explained to them why. I explained to them how Raphael and Stacy, they are vehemently defending the illegal aliens' right to be here and what they're going to do for them. And I said, they have not said one thing about the descendants of the black enslaved. I said, why would I vote for someone like that? They don't respond, but hey, it's just good to throw it out there to plant a seed, and when they see that people are not going to be voting, they're going to have to change their tune. And I'll let someone else talk.
Yeah, whenever you start talking about you're not going to vote, I remember a couple years ago, maybe what was it? I'm trying to think, was it the presidential election? It had to be the presidential election. And you know how you always get all of the people calling you beforehand, trying to say exactly which way you're going to vote at and this and that. It was a black lady on the phone, and because most of my life, I've always voted Democrat until recently, where I just started, becoming an independent. So I guess you still may have the actual be listed as a Democrat. So I told him, I said, well, I'm weighing the options of voting and this and that. So, oh no, don't do that. So I don't care who you vote for, just make sure you vote. Now, if I was to tell them that, hey, I think I might be leaning red or something like that, they would have had an absolute hissy fit. So the whole idea is just, yeah, it doesn't matter who you vote for, just vote. That's kind of like a little bit of nonsense. Like, it does matter. Like, if you believe to be black and a Democrat, they definitely want you to stay on that train and whatnot. So you're right in terms of Marcel and whatnot. He's one of the few that I know that actually talks about a black agenda. But I, you know, politicians look at talking about a black agenda as almost like suicidal. Like, you can't go ahead and you can't speak on black issues. You have to include everybody. You have to. If you don't have this rainbow type idea or whatever, then they say you really stand no chance of getting elected or whatever. So I think that may be true on a national level, but I think that in a lot of these congressional areas and stuff like that, where black people make up the majority, you can still have a black mindset, a black agenda, and still get voted into the Congress and whatnot, the House and whatnot. So I don't believe that at all to be true. Now, if you're talking about maybe running for governor or senator, of course, president, something of that level, but if you're talking about on a local level and even talking about holding a House spot, then you can definitely have a black agenda.
Well, see, remember when I shared with you before? I told you that the districts that I live in, they are like the my state representative and my state senator. They're over 60% black, but none of these people that run, they won't run on a black agenda. They won't mention. They'll mention what they'll do for. I mean, I'll give you an example. The current mayor we have in Atlanta right now, his name is Andre Dickens. He basically ran on it was under his diversity and inclusion platform. He basically ran on a gay platform and he won. See, again, they invoke, like I said, I keep saying they invoke this fear because what they were saying was Atlanta may not, during the primary, they were saying Atlanta may not have a black mayor. And for some odd reason, that terrifies these people into believing that, well, I got to get out there and vote. We got to keep Atlanta with a black mayor. But if the black mayor is not doing a damn thing for you, then hey, why not try something else? Because when you look at their track record, these people haven't done a damn thing for black people in this city. I mean, for example, they years ago they tore down the housing projects in Atlanta. But what except for one housing project that they tore down because this guy who was on the city council at the time, he grew up. I think they called it Carver Home, and he said, "Well, you're not going to tear these down without these people having somewhere else to go." But they built a new complex. But all the other ones, they tore them down, and they gave the people vouchers. They moved down to Clayton County and other places, and not understanding that you're getting rid of your voting block. And so now Atlanta is, I think it's just over 50% black. But like I said, these people, I don't know if it's something in the water or what, but they're not doing what they should do for the people who voted them in the office. See, most people just vote and that's it. And you have some people here, like the person who is the council person for my district. Her name is Andrea Boone. Now, her father was really big in the civil rights movement here in Atlanta, and I think he may have gone over to Alabama to do some things as well. And he transitioned several years ago, and she has on her platform something about continuing the legacy or something like that. I'm like, hold up. Some of my neighbors and I, we were talking. We said, why is she trying? Why are people accepting this? Where she's running on her father's legacy, trying to get elected, and not standing on her own 2 feet. So you have stuff like that that's going on here, and unfortunately, too many people they're just blind by just if they see a black face, they think they're going to get some representation, and that doesn't mean you're going to get anything.
Absolutely, absolutely. DJ, you up in the spot? I see. I know you was doing some work tonight. You here in the spot, or you still running around?
I'm here just turning in the midnight order still. What's going on, though? What's up, original? What's up, y'all?
Nothing much, nothing much. We just wait for the people to come in, but it's pretty slow night tonight so far. So I'm assuming they're gonna start to come in a little bit or whatever. But I guess I'm gonna go ahead and just touch up. I want to touch up on this article so we can go ahead and just get things rolling. I believe Tariq may be holding a space right now too, so that could be a reason why you have quite a few people that's up in his space as well too. So let me go ahead and still go ahead and share this what you got, and then we can still talk about it. Whatever small space, no space, whatever space, we still can share some knowledge. So this was like I say, this article was published on dailycaller.com. It says Congress stuffs 12 billion in Ukraine aid into government funding bill. Congress has complied with Biden administration's request to include 12 billion for Ukraine in its stopgap funding bill, Reuters reported Monday. GOP senators remain divided over whether to support the funding request and the continuing resolution. A funding bill that needs to be passed by September 30 to avert a government shutdown. CNN reported on September 19, however, a source familiar with the ongoing negotiations said Congress had agreed to $12 billion in aid and on top of the $40 billion authorized in May, Reuters report. Some Republican lawmakers accused Biden of attempting to stuff a massive amount of aid in the funding package to boost Democrats' prospects ahead of the midterms. Fox News reported, if Republicans vote against the bill in protest against the lack of accountability measures available to monitor the aid, the Biden administration could construe GOP opposition as tax support for or apathy towards Russian President Vladimir Putin and his war in Ukraine. The newest call for President Biden is simply a superficial midterm election gimmick that will only damage our country in both the short and long term, said Republican Representative Andy Biggs of Arizona, who told Fox News early in September. However, the administration asked for funding in accord with the Ukrainian army's needs and capabilities on the battlefield, a spokesperson for the National Security Council told Fox News. Ukraine's recent success in taking back territory Russia occupied early in the war has bolstered the administration's confidence that Western equipment and support is playing a decisive role in fueling the advance of the overmatched Ukrainian military. So far, the Biden administration has distributed roughly $15 billion in aid to Ukraine since January 2021, with most of that coming after the Russian invasion in February 2022. Roughly three-quarters of the direct military and budgetary support that Congress previously provided for Ukraine has been dispersed or committed, with even more expected by the end of the fiscal year, the White House budget director said on August 30th. In May, 57 GOP senators and 11 representatives had opposed a larger funding bill over the potential for corruption, facing backlash from Democratic Congress members for being soft on Putin, Fox News reported. We all want to help. We're all appalled by what Russia has done in Ukraine, Pennsylvania Republican Representative Scott Perry told Fox News. But we also have to stand up for accountability for the American taxpayer and how their money is being spent and where. The continuing resolution will also include humanitarian assistance for Afghanistan, the source told Reuters. So not only will the Ukraine also get more money, looking at $12 billion. They say roughly $15 billion in aid since January 2021. So that lets you know exactly how much of that they've been getting even before the actual. And they say, well, most of that coming after the Russian invasion in February 2022. So even before the actual war took place, the United States was pouring in billions of dollars into the Ukraine, and also the Afghanistan is also, getting a lot of money from humanitarian assistance as well. So the U.S. is shelling out billions of dollars right now to Ukraine, and also the Afghan. They're also getting a significant amount of money as well too. So here's that thing that we was talking about original in a couple spaces ago when we was talking about the actual issues they were having down there in Mississippi. If I can remember, I believe they were saying to fix the actual water system in actual Jackson, Mississippi, or maybe it was the entire state, it would cost something like $2 billion, $2 or $3 billion. And like I say, for the last year, we've given $15 billion to the Ukraine, and who knows how much to the Afghans. So just imagine if we took a fraction of that money, the people that's going through hell right now, could actually be living a pretty decent life in terms of just the basic necessities, being able to take a bath, being able to drink water. So this just lets you know exactly, and that's what we talk about our political representation. This is why people have issues with the Black Caucus and so many of these other Black politicians, because all of these politicians, whether they're congressmen, they're senators, or whatever, they're all voting to go ahead and fund and give money to Ukraine and to give money to the Afghanistan, but how many of them are really standing up on this? We talk about what we can do for the actual people that's right here in this country. You got homelessness that's just getting out of whack right now. You got the housing market that is just going beyond crazy. So exactly what and how much can we actually do to actually help people and stuff like that in this country? Because right now people are suffering, and that $15 billion that's going to Ukraine at this point in time, man, like I say, take 2-3 billion of that and go ahead and fix the water system right down there in Mississippi. And they're not through giving money to Ukraine either. who knows how much longer? You best believe that this war is probably going to drag on for a couple more years. So by the time it's all said and done, you could be talking about $30, $40 billion that Ukraine has got. And this is the same people when it comes time for us to try to get something going here for black people. They say, well, we ain't got the money. We can't afford it. This is going to put us in further debt and this and that. But everybody is on par, even the Republicans. The Republicans don't want to say no because they think this is going to make them look bad if they go ahead and say, no, we can't give Ukraine this money because they're playing politics right here. This is the midterm election debate right here. So they have already fattened up this funding bill, $40 billion. They got a funding bill of $40 billion authorized, and out of that $40 billion, $12 billion is going to Ukraine. So please, somebody help me make it make sense right here.
I would say for the most part, I would say
you're a little bit you're mumbled there.
Okay, what about now?
You still let me hear you go again because you sound a little mumbled.
What about now?
Still a little bit mumbled. Still a little bit mumbled. Let me get the kid gravity. Okay. Let me get the kid gravity real quick, and let's see if you can straighten it out real quick. Kid gravity, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Good evening.
What's going on, man?
It's cool. It's cool. Just trying to get ready for this hurricane coming.
Kid gravity, you in Florida too, man?
No, I'm in Atlanta, but it's supposed to hit us on Friday, so it's going to be a lot of rain. So
okay,
just trying to get my last minute stuff just in case.
Yeah, I'm here in Florida. I'm here in the Panhandle, and they talking about in Tallahassee that it's gonna miss us for the most part, but you know how it is.
Y'all gonna get that residual.
Yeah, we're gonna get it. So you just know how things are, man. And Kid Gravity, let me ask you a question. Just your personal opinion. I know you probably missed the article that I was reading as you came in, but we're just talking about that Congress is going to give $12 billion in aid. They got this funding bill, $40 billion of it authorized since May. $12 billion of it they talk about cutting to Ukraine. They've already given them $15 billion altogether since 2021. And so now they're talking about cutting $12 billion. On top of that, they also still giving money to the Afghans for humanitarian assistance and whatnot. So, the hot topic, especially in the community right now, is the crisis that's going on in Jackson, Mississippi. We did a space on that, and we talked about that. I think it was either anywhere from $2 to $3 or $4 billion could fix the entire water crisis situation down there. So why aren't we having politicians who all will go ahead and vote to give money to Ukraine, whether you're a congressman, congresswoman, everybody's voting to give money to the Ukraine, senators and whatnot. Why can't we get our brothers and sisters here in America to go ahead? They see this crisis, they talk a good game and this and that, but when it's time to actually go ahead and do the damn thing, why can't we get them to go ahead and champion actually trying to do something worthwhile for our people right here that can't even drink damn water, take a bath, and everything else, telling people when you take a shower, make sure you keep your mouth closed. God forbid any of this toxic water gets in your damn mouth. So just from your perspective, I know you're also part of the media as well, brother. If you could, just go ahead and try to school me and tell me exactly what the hell's going on that I'm missing.
This is all a finesse game. They know, number one, 2015, Democratic think tank sent out a memo that they found on Nancy Pelosi's laptop that said, do not promise. Well, they meant BLM, but we already know they meant black people. Do not promise them any policy positions. Do not be concrete on that. Because we were asking for laws to protect black people from the cops, black empowerment, things of that nature. And they know the Congress, the president, they all know once you give black people what they need, they don't need you. They'll take what they need and they'll basically go underground. And you can't have an economy going underground. So they need to keep us at a permanent underclass. So that's one thing. Number two, this Ukraine thing. Like I said, it's a finesse. They're going to just keep giving money to Ukraine because they think they're going to somehow beat Russia and China under the table. But what's going to end up happening is once these midterms play out the way I think they're going to play out, they'll have a plausible reason to blame the Republicans for what they're doing, because if the Republicans just keep doing what they've been doing, then they're going to say, see, they're the warmongers, and then they'll have another reason to galvanize their side to say, see, Republicans are just racist and they don't care. But the Republicans end what the Democrats are doing, then they'll say, oh, they're not tough. They don't they're scared of Russia. They're scared of China. See, Trump was their puppet, and they're just trying to set it up so when they try to get him back into office, he'll be Putin's puppet again. So they're just trying to basically steer the conversation away from what's really important, which is the reparations argument. These laws that we need on the books, these anti-black laws on the books, because they know, like I said, once we get those laws on the books and y'all get y'all's reparation checks, y'all are going to be basically a political and a financial force, not only in this country but in the world, and they can't have that. So they try to throw all the agendas at y'all, throw all the agendas here. Now they're trying to take it international, like putting the Nigerians against the Jamaicans now because they see those conversations out there. So, like I said this on my channel like months ago, that the next few months is going to be rough. Starting July 1st, it was going to be rough. So now we're nearing the climax of it. So we just got to do what you do, Toter. Just keep putting the articles out, keep having these conversations. I do what I do on the channel by pointing things out that people don't necessarily hear about on the news. And, hope for the best come November 8th. And hopefully we can have those conversations with the right politicians. But again, I don't trust too many politicians out here because they all like to talk before the election and then get in and then talk real nice when they get elected and then they just ghost you afterwards. So, if that's the case, then, maybe we're going to have to go ride out on Biden. I don't know. But we got to make sure we keep our focus ahead. That's about black empowerment. That's about getting y'all's reparations. Because truthfully, I just want that blueprint because Jamaica has about $500 million that they need. And I need to go get that. So I'll land my plane here.
And brother, that's why I support you because you definitely support the Black Americans and stuff like that for all of the talk and stuff like that people have and this and that about the we don't have any allies and whatnot. I definitely look at you as an ally, and there's a bunch of other Caribbean brothers and African brothers out there too that we also recognize as allies. Those who understand that, as Black Americans, we have to go ahead and we have to try to secure our future, but at the same time, we're not disrespecting you guys and trying to insult your culture, anything like that, because you're the type of brother that you have respect for the Black American culture and whatnot. You have love for the culture and whatnot too. So we definitely, as you ally with us in our fight for reparations, just so you know that we also stand by you in your fight against the Crown and Great Britain and all of the colonialism that went around the world that enslaved our people and stuff like that. So it's always great to have that dialogue with like-minded brothers and stuff like that. I know people, sometimes it was a whole debate about B1, FBA, this and that, but you know what I'm saying? You're on code. You've always been on code, so we definitely respect that. We respect also the content that you put out as well, too, brother, that you are awakening the people and stuff like that. And I know it's some of your people, too, you're awakening with the information and the content that you're sharing and whatnot, and that's greatly appreciated. This is a long battle. This is a long fight, and like I said, we joined at the hip here, brother. I definitely appreciate that. Like I say, for all the talk and stuff like that, that people want to say that it's a war going on, it's a diaspora war. It's not a diaspora war. You just have and we have our level of coons and magpies in this country, and you guys have them in the Caribbean and Africa as well too. So those of us that know that's on code and whatnot, we don't have any issues with each other. We're trying to both get to the same thing. So we're just trying to solidify our people as much as one, because we are people and whatnot. We just got dropped off at different spots and whatnot, and we got much respect for those who respect the Black American struggle and everything that is meant to this country as well as this world. So you got it, Kid Gravity.
Well, you were partly right about that crown, but there's a lot of hats that I need to go take, but I'm not going to say that here because I know you're going to put this on YouTube and I don't want you to get in trouble. But I think you know which hat I'm talking about. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'll just save that for my platform.
No problem, bro. Like I say, we definitely understand. I know you say $500 million, but I'm sure that they owe a lot more than $500 million. You might be talking about $500 billion.
I've said 500 billion, but I know I can't go back that far. I'm more trying to keep it with that particular devil that died, because she's had reign and rule over that country for 70 years, and I know how much she's exploited in that country. So I think 500 million would be a nice start, especially for the youth. Because a lot of them old folks, and I had an argument with people on Twitter about this today, a lot of them old folks, they just want to be subservient. I'm more worried about waking up the youth, because the youth of that country's future. There's no reason why an 18-year-old has to leave that country to go make it there. Like, Jamaica has like one of the worst healthcare systems on the planet. And if you don't have money, if you get cancer on that planet, on that island, you're good as dead. That shouldn't be the case with all these medical advances we have. So that money could go a long way to advancing that. But also, like you said, we have a lot of coons down there. But the problem is they're coming up here now, and they're indoctrinating these kids with it. So it's like you're fighting two generations at once. So that's the problem. At least with you guys know how to weed through that. It's a lot tougher when you're from like the Caribbean, or your folks are from the Caribbean or Africa. It's a lot tougher because you're not only dealing with that coon stuff, but then you got the Bible behind it, and they take the Bible way more serious than you guys take it up here. So you got to fight that indoctrination, then get down to the street level. Yeah, that's going to be a war. But at least if you can get to the youth and teach them the right way, be on and stay on code, we may have a chance maybe 2 generations down. But I'm going to shut up now.
Yeah, no doubt, brother. I appreciate you. Like I said, I definitely appreciate you dropping something. DJ, go ahead. You got it.
Hey, peace everybody again. What's up, Kid Gravity? So, what was the I guess the rhetoric like when what was that, Prince Harry, I guess Meghan Markle, they visited Jamaica or whatever. So, and everybody was screaming reparations then. So, what was the rhetoric like then?
From what I heard, in March they wanted to do reparations, but then all of a sudden it just stopped. I don't know why.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, you need to make sure the folks. Now, you good, brother. You need to make sure the folks stay on the march about that, man, because with the information, like I tell the diaspora homies up here in Jersey where I'm at, my Jamaica homies, Haitian homies or whatever. Hey, yo, y'all need to take this Freeman rhetoric and run it back to the country, man. What y'all doing, yo? Y'all could be up here doing work as I could pass the information to you, but you already know what it is. So we need to find a way to start getting this info down to the folks down in Kingston, down in Port-au-Prince.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
a lot of them consume what you guys talk about, but you know what it is. And I hate to say this, but a lot of them, they listen to the old heads too much. The old heads don't push them to go forward. Like, they'll sit there all day and yell at the government when they do them something wrong. But my thing is, you guys can touch that government. We can't touch Biden and them like that. We can only touch them through voting, or if we catch them on the street every now and again. Y'all can literally go to Kingston and go touch homeless. Y'all know where that man lives. Y'all actually have his address to the house where he lives at. You can go see him. But y'all won't go do it because you're afraid. I think they're afraid that they won't be able to go to the UK or Canada anymore. Like, if they get caught, like, they'll take their passport and they'll be stuck on the island. So I don't know, but yeah, I mean, trying to educate these people, it's intellectual heavy lifting. It's gonna be a struggle, like you said. But again, you have to go through the Christianity that you got to go through, trying to teach them about reparations and things like that. It's tough. It's a lot tougher than what you guys have. Like, I'm actually envious of you guys because you have so many voices that'll say what needs to be said. And it's cool. Jamaica probably has at most maybe 20. Like, somebody on Jason Black's show even admitted that they don't teach Garvey in school, even during their Black History Month, because they said they don't want radicals coming out of these school systems.
It is a problem with us right now. Like for you guys that just came into the actual room, we're talking about the $12 billion in the funding bill that's going to Ukraine. Yeah. And since 2021, you've had $15 billion go to Ukraine, and also we're still giving money to the Afghans as well too. This is part of a larger $40 billion authorized a funding bill that they have that was passed in May. So we have 40 billion. Out of that 40 billion, 12 billion is going to Ukraine. So just do the math. 2021, 15 billion. They've got 15 billion. Like I said, the Afghans, they're still getting money. We talk about reparations, but our reparations are going to other nations. They're taking the money that they could be using right here. Like I said, and I mentioned it, and me and Kate Gravity was talking about it. Instead of taking 2-3 billion out of that to go in and fix the water crisis in Mississippi, they're going to go ahead and they're going to give it to the Afghans and they're going to give it to the Ukraine. And let's not forget that this war is not about to be over anytime soon. So who knows exactly the dollar amount that's really going to skyrocket once this thing can go on for another 2-3 years. We have absolutely no idea when this war is coming to an end. I want to give a shout out to Cash as well, too. Cash, I saw that you mentioned in the actual Texas pull up. I went ahead and I tweeted that out, man. So in case you get a chance, I know the actually was actually written on the what's that site? I can't think of the name of it, but we actually curated so an excerpt of it. If you go to Newstoter or whatever, I'm gonna put it in the jumbotron. But shout out to you. Saw you in the actual in a video and whatnot, and your Twitter feed was on there. So shout out to you for your participation also in that pull up down there as well too. But yeah, y'all, we're just talking about actual Congress and whatnot, what they're doing. They're talking about to stop a government shutdown. You know, they're going to go ahead. They're going to have to go ahead and they're going to have to fund this bill. Like I say, $40 billion. Out of that $40 billion, $12 billion is going overseas. So just go ahead and add that up. $12 billion is going overseas to Ukraine. Meanwhile, we see exactly the housing dilemma that's going over here in this country right now. We see the education system. We see a criminal infrastructure. We see rising crime. We see unemployment. We see BS jobs that's not going to pay you worth anything. So the money that we can raise and that we've been raising is not benefiting the actual citizens over here in America, and is definitely not benefiting Black Americans one iota. So that's what the conversation is on tonight. We're on exactly how they're funding all this money and how all this money, Ukraine constantly keeps getting all this money. At the same time, they're also opening up the border for Ukraine as well too. So they're not only just giving them money, they're also allowing them to come over here. A few months ago, you had Hampton University, HBCU. Their president was on the way out, and he ended up going ahead and allowing Ukraine students to come over here for free tuition, free room and board, as well as, from my understanding, the parents also got the same treatment as well too. So all the resources that your ancestors died for and fight for, you know, it's kind of just going out the window. So you guys, definitely, I look forward to hearing from you guys. I definitely want to hear the conversation and whatnot. So if you guys want to say anything, please raise your hand. We will go ahead and we'll let you speak. We want to hear people go ahead and just give their honest opinion about this $12 billion that they're getting right now. So Don, you go ahead and unmute your mic.
They talking about it right now. They was talking about it yesterday. I know that I was talking to Tartar yesterday. He put me up on some other shit, and I was like, dude, is this for real? And they was for real about it. They already got the money. You know what I mean? They're trying to figure out how we gonna do with the money. And once I heard that, I was like, dude, wait, hold on. So you guys already have the money, and these ain't even Ukrainians. I'm just gonna land my plane right there.
All right, appreciate you, brother. DJ, you got it.
Yeah, so with that being said, Kid Gravity, yeah, we go through the same thing up here, you know. I'll be going off on my old heads too, you know, about reparations and hey, look, we need to do this, that, and the third. And all they ever say, oh, the Republicans, this, that, yada, yada. But yeah, but what about the Democrats doing? I got into a verbal spat with my great aunt. She in her 90s, bro. I said, yeah, Auntie, Hunter Biden, he out here smoking crack on the iPhone. Oh, he ain't doing that. The Republicans making that up. Auntie, come on now. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody forcing nobody to smoke no crack on tape, yo. At least not in America anyway, yo. He doing that on his own kindness. Oh, they make up lies. That's misinformation. So they said the same thing about Trump. You can't say the same thing about Hunter Biden? Come on now. So we go through the same thing, dog. And look, you just got to bypass it, bro. It's some folks that's down there on the island or over here in America or over somewhere in the UK that is Jamaican and Caribbean or whatever. They down with the reparations talk, bro. For sure on that. You just got to go pull them together. That's all. But go ahead, though.
Yeah, Cash, you got it. We're gonna get the Cash, then we're gonna get the Kid Gravity.
Peace, y'all. Yeah, shout out to Newstoter. Actually, I was in Newark, New Jersey for the pull up that I posted up on my page and stuff. Y'all can take a look at my Twitter feed if you want to see some of the video from us being out front the City Hall in Newark, New Jersey. It was honestly my first time out there. I've driven through it and stuff, but I'm trying to make sure that I can physically be in as many places as possible to get our message out. At least the most important part to me of reparations, which is direct cash payments. So thank you for having this room that's mentioned actual figures in the title, because they're quick to mention numbers and mention amounts to other communities, but it got to be a couple studies for us, right? So I wanted to mention to our own community about the Oregon bill that's offering $123,000 a year and lifetime payments tax free. But to speak to the title up above, and say that certain states need to be paid more than that because Oregon's cost of living is different than other states, and that's still separate from our federal claim. But I just wanted to, put some numbers into our people's heads so they understand as lifetime payments were offered. And we need to demand that it be proportional, it be the right amounts, and make sure that we achieve it within our lifetime. As far as the Ukrainians, me studying American history, in my understanding, it was Russians who helped us beat the Nazis in World War II. In my understanding, there's Nazis amongst the Ukrainians of modern day who fight in militias among them. And I've also heard that the Peace Corps of America has been told that when they help Ukrainian refugees of this war come into America, to be careful because some of them might call us the N-word or have neo-Nazi tendencies. Right? So which side of the war are we on in this instance if we're helping people from Ukraine flee into America and paying them billions of dollars while the Russians are trying to quote unquote fight the Nazis in modern day? I don't know why America's fighting in this war. I get why Biden might be interested in it, but I'm not interested in the Ukrainians and the Afghanis and anybody, but specifically Black Americans. I'll mention one last thing. Scarcity exists, right? And as well, there's an article that says $150 billion is lost to the American economy every year. 150 billion every year due to remittances, which is people who've left their home nation to move to America and by their own salaries send back money to their home nation. 35 nations depend on this up to 10% of their GDP, which is not a recipe for success. So that's foreign aid plus people leaving their home nation to make money elsewhere to send back to their home nation. So I just wanted to drop all those facts in the room, bring some to the potluck. But I can't stress enough that we as Black Americans should have never cared about any of these Cold Wars. And I'm preaching to the choir because we as a community have been saying get out of Saigon and into Selma, understanding that it was white folks fighting, telling Black and brown people to fight each other. When I say brown, I mean the Vietnamese, honestly, fight each other for white folks. And the Russians, they'll give weapons to either side and just let Americans give weapons to the other side and then let these people fight it out. South Korea is an example of that. Vietnam's an example of that. And I don't want to belabor the room, but I just can't stress enough that we as the Black American community need to stop caring about all these things happening overseas and fighting for this military that never cared about us, and instead support our reparations claim both federally and statewide, since that's what's happening in modern day. Thank you.
Yeah, this brother is sharp here. Cash, I always enjoy hearing you and your analysis and your breakdown. Let me just go ahead and piggyback off of that 1 second before we go ahead and kick it to Ray. We talk about the actual neo-Nazis and that's over there in Ukraine, and you're definitely correct. At the time that when George Floyd got killed, I believe it was a soccer game going over there in Ukraine, and you had these people over there that talk about free Derek Chauvin, the man that was responsible for killing George Floyd. They were sitting up there. How these people in Ukraine are sitting up here talking about cheering this man that just murdered this black man is beyond me. So they're going ahead, they're financially taking care of them. Like I said, they're providing. You had HBCUs, you had this black president on his way out at Hampton University decided to go ahead and he says, hey, I'm not going to take the kids all throughout the nation in Chicago and South Central and some of these inner cities, and hell, some of our black people in the rural areas too, because they forget that we got black people that live out on these rural areas and these country areas. I'm not going to take them and give them a free room and board and free tuition and everything else. Let me take these people over from overseas right here because they deserve it more than my own people. The HBCUs that was actually built by our own people. So let's go ahead and take them. Go ahead and give them free room and board. Give them a free education. Bring their parents over here as well. Give them a place to stay. All this other nonsense. Now, meanwhile, we hear about the U.S. population and the white population going down and how it's going to be in 2045, 2050, and this and that. So why not get us some new Aryan blood, some new blood to come over here? We can go ahead. We can bankroll these people. We can put them in position like we do all these other people. Put them in position so they can also be up for black people as well too. So definitely appreciate that, Cash. Ray, you got it.
What's going on, everybody? Well, first of all, I want to say thank you, everybody, that came out to space, man. I know we're all very busy, man, but y'all continue to support our good brother Newstoter. So I definitely want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. So I'm a little under the weather, so I'm just going to say this really, really quick, and I'm going to go back as a co-host. So I also noticed that on top of the funding, the $12 billion that Biden gave to Ukraine, he also was asking the Congress to provide weapons. It's an access. We have, obviously we have our weapons kept away too. It's asking to give away our reserve weapons to go over there to help them too. So obviously that's going to deplete us for the weapons that we have. So I don't really understand what he's trying to do with that. I mean, it seems like they're trying to kind of get rid of stuff. I don't know, family, but I figure I'll let everyone know that, and I'll land right there.
Ray, do you think, I know you're in the military, it seemed like from a logistics point of view that, they're trying to go ahead and they're trying to help Ukraine defeat Russia, and possibly is this something that they're trying, that section of the world that they want to be able to monitor what Russia and China does more so, keep an eye on them or whatever, go ahead and supply Ukraine with as much weaponry as possible and whatnot, because I'd be surprised. At most, I see Ukraine coming away with a stalemate. I don't think that they're going to beat Russia, no matter how much the U.S. is supplying them. So we may have something like a draw stalemate, like you had in the Vietnam War with the U.S. and the Vietnamese, where the U.S. didn't win. But
that's impossible. You know, possible because brothers and sisters are talking the same that we talk right now. Those the Ukrainians, would you stand with the Nazis? Ukrainians are Nazis, dude. We can't even pretend that they're not that way. They're Nazis. They don't even play around with it. They'll tell you like, yeah, we're Nazis. So how can you can't go with a draft for black people at any point? My son wouldn't fight a war with a Nazi.
No. You listen to what I'm saying, brother. What I'm saying is that because right now we don't have any U.S. troops over there fighting in this war right here. What I'm saying is that, like Ray said, we're already giving them billions of dollars in money. We're also giving them billions of dollars in equipment and stuff too. And I'm thinking from a point of view that the U.S. wants to be able to monitor every corner of this world, and they consider Russia to be a threat. They consider China to be a threat. So is it possible, because this could be one of their lapdogs, so Ukraine could just be one of their lapdogs that they're supplying and they're trying to keep up there? Is this possible that they're going to have Ukraine over there in that section, go ahead and build them up like they do so many other puppets and dictators and little rinky-dink nations all throughout the world, build them up and basically have them as an underling so they can go ahead and control that section over there, or at least be able to keep tabs on those two over there, especially Russia in particular, because we know China is their biggest trade partner. So as much tiff and taff as they have with China, it doesn't really do the U.S. any good to see China go down, because China is the one who buys up most of their stuff. Kid Gravity, you got it.
I think the ultimate plan is to have Ukraine usurp Russia as the largest oil exporter to Europe, because especially with that bombing that happened today with Russia's pipeline, they're saying that Russia was trying to illegally annex their pipelines through Ukraine. So I think if you blow this up and cut Russia off from Europe, you can put Ukraine there. Like you said, you can control it with Zelensky. You put all your weapons over there. So if Russia or trying to try something, you're ready to defend it. But that's just me putting on the tinfoil fitted hat.
You make a great point. You make a great point. Ray, hello? Yeah. Don, if you want to go ahead and speak, just go ahead and raise your hand. Let me go ahead and get to Ray. Ray, go ahead and unmute your mic.
No, I want to just retouch on what I was trying to say a little bit more eloquently. So it was put out in a separate but unrelated authorized request. The U.S. official said that the Biden administration also planned to ask Congress for an additional $3.6 billion in presidential drawdown authority, which allows the president to authorize the transfer of access weapons from the U.S. stock. So I just wanted to, like I said, I probably said that very, I just say badly. So I just wanted to definitely clean it up a little bit.
Okay, do we have a calculator? Because that's a whole bunch of billions. That's a whole bunch of billions then.
I just don't understand how we can continue to send billions of dollars when this economy is in a recession. Technically, we're in a recession. You know, they tried to, finesse what a recession was because if people have been paying attention, the Biden administration actually went and changed the definition of what a recession was on their website. So, it wouldn't look so bad on them. But we're technically in a damn recession right now. And we, for whatever reason, continue sending money to all these people that, by the time they get over here, they're going to tell us about pulling ourselves up our own straps and all this other complete nonsense when we've been sending them literally billions of dollars. But I'll land there.
All right, Don, you got something you want to go ahead and add in, Don?
I can't say anything after that. My brother, he just came through with the world. Sometimes we have to listen to brothers. And my brother came through with the world. That was real. That was real. I will land my plane on his plane.
Here's the thing, though, like Ray, and I agree with you saying that we're in a recession or whatever, but one thing that we forget, too, is that we just print up money left and right. Like, whenever we need money, the United States will print up money. So we see inflation now, how it's skyrocketed. We see that the interest rate from a house just jumped up from 3% and something, like 3.5% to 6 point something percent. So this stuff is just like a never-ending cycle here. But the thing about it is that because the U.S. has the number one military in the world, almost no nation can really come over here and just take the money that's owed or whatever. Like, we're in debt. We've been in debt our whole life. Trillions of dollars in debt. We're gonna stay in debt. We just print up money left and right. We don't have anything backing it like gold, anything like that. But we do have something that backs our money, and it's called the military. And nobody really wants a part of that military. I mean, as big as Russia military is, and as big as China military is, it would do none of them any good. You know this, Ray, being a ex-military man. What are you going to do, like end the world or whatever? Because you have these two forces right here. They're not going to get out there and go head to head and just start slaughtering each other. Millions of people lose their life. You're talking about a push button type warfare, nuclear holocaust, that type of stuff right there. So the superpowers of the world, they're not going to really go ahead and try to. God forbid that you see the U.S. and Russia, China, those go at it or whatever, because then you're talking about complete annihilation. But these other smaller countries who might have debt, who may owe the U.S. some money like that, they can't do anything. They're not going to do anything. So the U.S. just prints up. Ray?
No, I was just gonna say this, and this isn't anything classified or anything. You can all look this up. But you're definitely right. Like the ships, I was on the aircraft carrier. I've spoken about this before. I've done 3 different tours on 3 different aircraft carriers. Those aircraft carriers can stay out to sea for 25 years before they need to come in to be resurfaced. So just think about that. 25 years of just nonstop flights, nonstop bombs, doing stuff like that. So, and I want to also mention, I don't know if anyone has seen, but there's been an article, well, not an article, but talks of Putin using nuclear bombs on Ukraine. And obviously, you know how, while dropping nukes on
I heard about that.
It says that can y'all hear me? It says I lost connection.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, brother. We can hear you, brother.
This Twitter space be kicking me out a lot. But yeah, they're talking about Ukraine using Russia, I guess, trying to use nukes on Ukraine. Oh my God, because you already know how that's gonna go. You launch one nuke, and then everyone else gonna launch the next thing. You know, the whole world is ended. I mean, we really living in some scary times. We have given absolute madmen, nuclear power. And I said this before. Like I've had a guy, like white dude. I talked to him about, and he's honest. He'll be honest with me. And he's even said, he was like, we have no problem, ending the world if that's what was to happen. It was like they trying to give up no power to black people. They will blow up the whole world and kill everybody. And he was honest with me. And I as much as I respected it, it's fucked up. But that's we got to realize that that's the mentality of the people that we're dealing with. And I'm gonna land there.
Well, that's the reason that those type of weapons were ever created to maintain control and dominance over everybody in the entire world, especially us. So he's correct on that. Here's my thing with the like we said, we got $40 billion that they're talking about for this funding. This is where we as black people have no political power. Now we have we have the Black Caucus. We have all these black senators, congressmen, mayors. We have all these people in power and stuff, political office, and not one black person has set up there. And this is how you know that this all is just political theater. Like I say, 12 billion, and you won't catch one black person. Like I guess they tell them not to say anything. You won't catch one black person in the Black Caucus. You won't catch one, and this is for all these entertainers too. They're always talking this and that about black power and this and that. You won't get one of them to sit up and say, you know what? We read reports that it only takes $2-3 billion to fix the actual water crisis in Jackson, Mississippi. Don't you guys think that this is a national emergency? Don't you guys think that we should go ahead and fix that? If you want to give Ukraine $10 billion or whatever, go ahead and give it to them. But what about our black people that's right here in this country? And it's not just Jackson either. You better believe that you have a lot of these black cities and townships in this country that have similar issues that just haven't been discovered yet, that nobody's talking about. So what are we going to do? We always talk about the crumbling infrastructure of America. Well, we can talk about the crumbling infrastructure of America, but you have to magnify that crumbling infrastructure of America and Black America even more. Because if it's crumbling nationwide, then it's fell apart, it's fall apart already, but we stay at. So why are there no? And that's what I want to know. Why are there? Where's Maxine Waters? Because all these black people holding office, all of them agree about funding this. They all vote and they all support about funding this. They don't want the government to shut down, and I don't blame you. Hey, we don't need the government to shut down. We need to go ahead and keep business going. But out of $40 billion, $12 billion is going to another nation. And not only that, in that $40 billion, we also got money going to Afghanistan. So why aren't any of these black people that's in office, Cory Booker, why isn't Jim Clyburn? Why isn't Tim Scott the Republicans? I know a lot of black people say, well, y'all only talk about the black Democrat. Well, throw Tim Scott in that. Why aren't any of these black people sitting up here saying, you know what, we're in dire need? You can't go ahead and give this kind of money out. And we're sitting up here and we're showing daily the struggles that these people have in this one particular city. Why can't we go ahead and take care of this and fund this? Nobody is calling this out. You don't hear anybody in politics. You don't hear any black person in entertainment. You don't hear any black person, period, going ahead and calling this out. This is just all out treachery right here. Why aren't they saying anything about this? Why are they just letting this ride? They all sit up here and they all vote for this, and nobody has a problem. Every black person, I promise you, in Congress will go ahead and they will vote to go ahead and fund this. Even the ones that's Republicans, because right now we're playing this midterm game right here. One the Republicans don't want to give the Democrats too much to make them look better when midterms come. So that's the game that we got going on here too. But they've all been funding and they've all been supporting, giving money to Ukraine. So why won't any of these black people in politics stand up and get a backbone for once in their life and sit up here and say, this is not right. I can't sit up here. If I'm not gonna fund this. I'm gonna jump party lines. I'm gonna go against my party. If you're not gonna go ahead and you're not gonna cut some of that $40 billion for these black people that's catching hell down here, that can't even drink clean water, can't even take a shower, have to travel 30 miles away to another town, then I'm not going to sit up here for people that's 4,000-5,000 miles across the ocean. And I feel for them. It's wrong what Russia did. I don't support it. But you know what? We have given these people money. We've given them $15 billion since 2021. It's time that we go ahead and we give our own people that's sitting right here, people that built this nation up. You know, these black people are descendants of the people that had Mississippi, the richest state pre-Civil War in the United States of America, made you into a financial power. And this is how you're going to do them. This is how you're going to treat them. Why won't our own people sit up here and stand up here? But yet, if you don't go out and vote for Stacey Abrams, they want to sit up here and say that black men are the reason that you fail, and that black men are doing this, and that black people don't come out and vote, and that the black vote costing them this and that black people need to do this. But yet, when it's time to do something for black people, these people won't do anything. They got $40 billion to play with, and they won't sit up here and just say, the black carcass, this is where they can go ahead and earn their stripes right here. Walk out, say, you know what? No. Because guess what? In your congressional districts, nobody's gonna beat these people. Let's be for real. Let's stop with this nonsense. These people are in predominantly black areas. The people that run against them have no chance in most of these districts. I know you have Maxine Waters, and she's in a mostly Latino district. But in most of these districts that these black congressmen and congresswomen oversee, they are the actual favorite. They are the black people the majority. So why won't they sit up here, the senators and the congressmen and congresswomen, say, no, we have to stand for the first time. We have to stand unified. We have to do the right thing. We have to sit up here, and we can't allow our people just to suffer. What does that say about your own people? What does that say about your race? How do you view your own people? That you're willing to go across and give these people this amount of money right here. There's never been a black nation in the world that they went during military times, that they were fighting somebody, that they went ahead and they supplied them with this kind of money and this kind of weaponry ever in history. But you're going to sit up here and you're going to do this, and you've been doing this for a year and you're not done this war. I'm telling you, this war is going to go on a little bit longer. Don't be surprised. This is what I'm going for a couple more years. And by the time the tally ends, what are we going to be looking at? $100 billion? And you still haven't done anything for people right here in this country that's suffering? Original, you got it.
Yeah, man. It's like I don't know if you ever heard of this brother Steve Coakley. You ever heard of that name?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Steve would Steve would always refer to them as oath takers, like the Divine Nine and these elected officials. And he'd always say, you know what? I think they got something on them. Maybe it's with a little boy, a little girl, or maybe it's with an animal. Because there isn't any reason as to why these people are not speaking up for what's going on with us. You cannot find one. And not only that, I'm happy. I'm so happy to know that there is media like Newstoter. When Big Swole Stacy ran in 2018, there's this guy. He wrote this book. It's entitled "Addicted to White." I think his name is Jerome Fox. So he was on this radio station I used to listen to, and he had made this. And the host would always say, "Don't." They have like an open forum on a Friday, and the host would say, "Don't call in on Friday and complain about what the guest said. Call in while the guests are on." So this guy had made a statement because the host told him that there were some people in Georgia like myself who were saying that we're not voting for Stacey Abrams, and he gonna say that we were addicted to white. And so I called in to confront him, and let me tell you, they hung up on me. I said, well, maybe I just got disconnected. I kept calling back. They kept hanging up on me because they knew that I was going to take him down because I had other information to share with him about Big Stacy and how she has never cared for black people. And that right there seemed to that they run on. Just run as a black person. They'll be happy to see you running. Don't promise them anything. Only give them benign neglect. But you can tell the illegal aliens what you're going to do for them and every other demographic, but don't promise them anything. So they've been co-opted, and I think we are going to have to move quick. We're going to have to find some dynamic young people that are like Marcel, who won't be afraid to go in there and speak truth and get things popping for us. Because the people that's in there, and there are some young black people that they are grooming to take the place of Stacey Abrams and a Maxine Waters, and the list goes on. So we are going to have to start producing people ourselves to put out there, because if we can get, let's say, if we had 5 dynamic young black people in Congress, we could move some things. Because see, they talked about that squad with whatever her name, COA or whatever her name is, and but if we had 5 good people in Congress, we could move some things, because they're stalling us because they don't want to mention it. Just like you got Karen Bass in LA, they're trying to blame black men because she might lose. They want to no. If you're not going to represent people, they're not going to vote for you. So I think that's what we need to really concentrate on. If we can just get, if we know, if we know, if we can get about 5 of them. But like I said, I'm looking for people here in Atlanta that I can try to connect with myself. Because like I said, my district, my representative is over 60% black district. My state senator district is over 60% black. My congressional district is dang near 60% black. And my city council district is close to 60% black. Now, if if there was some young, dynamic black people that we could just push, and all these districts around the country whereby the demographic of black people are strong, we can get the thing moving simultaneously on the local, state, and the national level. But and I'll land on that. But I just want to say that that's something I think we really have to concentrate on.
You're definitely right, man. Like I say, it's just no, we're not really holding these people accountable, and that's why I don't get upset sometimes. And I know people say that when people say that they may sit out and they may not vote. I understand that the importance of voting. I understand that totally, but you can't really get upset with people when they just see the constant failure, 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 failure. Um, I know we want to go ahead and close the borders, and that's important. We want to put a limit on immigration. That's important and stuff like that. But how can you really go out here and support these parties and stuff like that when they just sitting up here letting your people die? Don't give a damn if they live or not. Don't care. And your own people that's supposed to be representatives of you, that holds some power. They may not hold a whole lot of power, but they hold some power. They just sit up there and they just mosey along. Don't say anything about it. Don't hear any of them mentioning it. When did the Black Caucus come out united and say that we're going to do something? We're going to put it. We're going to ourselves. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do something to stop this thing going on in Mississippi. I mean, people talk about the violence in Chicago and this and that. How often do they get together and try to do anything about that? I mean, really? I mean, we're just empowering a bunch of people just to keep a seat warm, just so we can say it's somebody that looks like us in office, living vicariously through these people, and these people aren't doing anything worthwhile, anything that's important. You can't sit up here as a congressman, a congresswoman, and sit up here and you're seeing this all over the news and stuff like that. And it's just not Mississippi; it's everywhere. Most of these black people living on the street, most of these people living on the street are homeless and stuff like that. Are black. What are we gonna do as a people? Why aren't we not? We're not putting these people on blast, and we talk about it in these spaces, and we tweet it out, and we try to send information about Stacey Adams and this person, Stacey Abrams and this person and that person. But it's gonna take a bigger until we can actually build that actual coalition. We're gonna be ignored. People are not taking us seriously, and we can't depend on anybody in Hollywood, entertainment, anybody dribbling the ball, catching the ball, anything like that, because they're worried about endorsements. They're worried about their brand, so to speak, and whatnot. So it's really like we're just stuck in neutral. We're not moving. We're not going forward. So what are we gonna do here? I mean, nobody. We're sitting up here, and this funding right here that's available, that's going to get bipartisan support. We won't get our own people. It was a time that you probably would have had black people would have walked out of there and said, "No, man, no, y'all gonna have to do something here. Y'all only throw us crumbs right here." Well, I tell you what, out of this $40 billion, you're gonna throw us at least $2 billion in crumbs. We're gonna show right now. We're gonna show our people that we are about them. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna fix this issue right now, and that's not happening. Miss Great Ape, I know you requested to speak. If you want to speak, let me know, sister. I'll definitely let you get you some words in there and whatnot. Definitely love to hear a woman's point of view, perspective as well too. So any of our sisters in the space that want to speak and whatnot as well, please don't be shy. Come on up here and bless us with your knowledge and wisdom. We would definitely love to hear from you guys. So we definitely like to have a well-rounded a platform here going on. We definitely appreciate everything that the women do for us. So we definitely value that knowledge as well too. So Miss Grady, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thank you, Newstoter. I just want to, I've been following you for a couple of months now, and I just want to express my gratitude to you. You're one of my favorite follows, and you're consistently trying to support and educate us. And I know it's important that we support you financially and just joining your spaces and reading your content online. So thank you. I guess my question is, I'm feeling, I attended Denise Long's space earlier tonight, which was excellent. And I want to encourage everybody to listen to that recording. It was with Numbers USA. It was talking about legal and illegal immigrants and social security. But I guess my comment or question is, how can we're also overwhelmed, Newstoter and everybody listening. I know we're all overwhelmed with our lives, and we have a lot to do. And I've been trying to brainstorm, like, how can we reach out to our government officials locally and federally to express the concerns of foundational Black Americans and illegal immigration and legal immigration and so forth. I haven't yet seen how we can coalesce. And so I was trying to figure out, should I start a website? Should I start a Twitter account where we have talking points and we can just make things easier for folks to reach out and communicate with the masses about our concerns and our issues? And so I'll land my plane there.
That's definitely a great thing there. We definitely may have to get their phone numbers and start putting it on speed dial as well too. I mean, the last thing they want to do is when they're at their place of business is have to fill 1,000 calls in an hour or something like that too. So we definitely and as part of the media as well too. I have to do a better job as well of trying to go ahead and maybe working with people on Twitter and stuff like that offline as well to find a way to actually doing something, because it's just to the point, man. I'm just really, really just tired of just talking all the time. Like, that's all we do is talk. But when it's time to like actually form solutions and do things, we're still behind. So that's something definitely that sister, that forming a website. Like I say, getting their numbers, we started forming our own little groups and stuff like that. And I mean by groups, we need hundreds of us in a group to actually go ahead and call some of these congressmen and call some of these senators and stuff like that and tell them, like, hey, man, we know y'all looking at the news and we know you see exactly what's going on here. What are you going to do about this here? Because, like I say, you can't just keep giving these people a free pass to get elected. I mean, there's no consequence whatsoever. So they go ahead. They know that they're going to be reelected to the same district. Look at Clyburn, 30 some odd years. So what's the incentive of actually trying to do anything when we know that, hey, I'm going to come back and I'm going to get my 6-figure salary, and the people in this little city, a town, a district that I live at, they're still going to live the same crummy lives. Miss Grady, I'm going to let you go ahead because I see you got your hand up, and then I'm going to go to Queen B.
Okay. Hi, Queen B. I'll be quick. Everything you just said, I feel like you're reading my mind. So we can connect via DM. I'm ready to volunteer for free and figure out how we can do this with the talking points. And listen, I'm in Montgomery County, Maryland. I'm adjacent to DC. Okay, I'm in a sanctuary county, and I've personally been impacted by illegal immigrants. And I try to tweet folks on here who are responsible for this, local politicians, and obviously they don't see me and they ignore me. And all I can think about is if we all came together for every city, county, state, and federal politician to start communicating our concerns, we'd be on fire. And Denise Long has already produced talking points for us. If you all follow her, and Numbers USA and FAIR and CIS, Center for Immigration Studies. We have the content out there. You know, I know we can't all stand on the corner and protest and do pull-ups, but it's all there. I just think we need somebody to pull it together, and I'm willing to do that because I'm sick of this shit. And Newstoter, we can DM and we'll figure it out. And I land my plane. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And actually, when you DM me too, also give me Denise's give me her profile so I can go ahead and start following her too, so I can because I think I did see that space. I just didn't have time, so busy or whatever. But I did see that space about the immigration and Social Security, I believe it was. So definitely go ahead so I can follow the sister and just stay up to date. And yeah, me, you, and DJ and stuff like that, and Ray, we can possibly put our head together and we can start trying to actually look at things and stuff like that, because you know it's just getting tiresome here. It's ridiculous. The fact that because at the start of this damn pandemic, the United States government gave the bank the ability to print up, I think it was $1 trillion a day just to keep business going and flowing and whatnot. So I don't want to hear the nonsense that they don't have the money, because they have the money. They print it up all the time. The money is there. It's just not there for you and I. So and then we don't have any elected officials that's going to watch our back and look out for us and stuff too. So yeah, the money's there, and yes, definitely. You up in a great area. You're basically right where politics and stuff takes place at in the country and whatnot. So we definitely need to hungry that wants to do something. Let them come in there and see if they can go ahead and breathe life into an already dying system, whatnot. Let the next generation take that baton like they was on a relay and let them bring it down the home stretch. You did what you were supposed to do, or what you could have done, or you didn't do it. It's too late now. You're not gonna do it. You're complacent. You're up in your age. You're really thinking about you and your family. You're thinking that, hey, I live the best life I can live, or whatever. I'm gonna be out of here soon enough. Let the next generation. Well, if you feel like that, then let the next generation come and actually do something. Don't just stop progress. Queen B. Then we're gonna go to Trouble.
Hey, News.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. Right before that sister takes the mic, I want to point out something really quick. If you look in the Jumbotron, I wanted to let you know this because you're in Tallahassee. Ron DeSantos appointee just resigned because he got caught wearing pictures of a KKK outfit. And Ron DeSantos, I wish I was kidding. Ron DeSantos appointed him to run Florida's predominantly black county. And since I know you're in there, in Tallahassee, I definitely want to point that out to you.
Oh, thank you, bro. I got to definitely check up on this right here. DeSantis, like,
hey, where's that at? Where's that at? So I can see it. Bro, I need to see that.
It's in the Jumbotron. It's the second one from the left.
Second one from the left. Got you on.
Definitely appreciate that. Let's go Queen Bee Trouble, DJ and Queen Bee Trouble, and original. DJ, hold it down for me for 1 second. Is that Queen Bee?
Queen B, going once, going twice, man. You the next.
Hi. Hi. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can do.
Okay. I wasn't sure. It looked like somebody else's mic was on. Anyway, shout out to Miss Great. I was in Denise's room for a little while, and I heard a lot of the conversation. And I think even you and I got into a little bit of dialogue earlier today, through some tweets. And my frustration is right along with you, and everybody else feels this way. This immigration is just getting out of hand. It's just getting out of hand, and it's so blatant that it used to be that we used to be able to go to our elected officials, or we would be able to get something on the ballot, so that we could be included in these decisions. But they're just like, the hell, we're just going to do what we're going to do. And if you don't like it, too bad. And so we've lost our government. So we certainly recognize that there's a problem. But I would say the biggest culprits in all of this is not just our government elected officials, but it's the media. Because, we know the media is not on our side. And so, Ray, I do appreciate the story that you just told, but I believe, I just don't really believe that just yet. I need more information because we know it's midterms, things start to get crazy. They'll bring out, they call these October surprises. This could be the October surprise, even though I think we're a couple of days away from it. These little last minute little tricks and things like that. And they have the media working alongside with them. And a lot of these stories over the years have been debunked by a lot of people. So again, I'm not clearing the guy. I'm not really defending him, but I'm just saying I don't really believe anything that the media even puts out there a lot of times, because a lot of it is BS. They are aligned with a specific party. They're a part of the corruption. They're a part of moving these agendas in the direction that they're going. That's the reason why they're not even covering the border. You only have maybe one or two stations that are even covering the border. I think Fox News is the one that's more aggressive about it, but the rest of them aren't even covering the border. So a lot of people don't even know that there's a crisis at the border. And if you bring it up to them, they'll just say, well, no, those are people that need asylum. Those are refugees. They need our help. It's like they're not even getting all of the information because the news is being suppressed. So we have another enemy out there, to me, that's bigger than the government. It's the media. And so I think when we organize, when we strategize, and when we get together, and when we talk about what we want to do, we need to make sure that we're looking out for that other enemy and find workarounds and ways to trick them or whatever, or use them to our advantage to get our message out, because they will not give coverage. And these pull-ups and these things that they did this weekend, the coverage that they did get was negative coverage. So we need to find a way, that when we do these things, when we have these initiatives and we make these efforts to get out there, that we're really thinking about it. Now, again, this is my opinion, about the media, just kind of knowing how they've been operating throughout the years. And they're a big part of our problem. And the other thing, we were talking about our politicians. Well, we know they're not there for us. They're there for them. And they're already hand-selected. They're hand-picked. I think somebody mentioned that earlier on in the conversation. They groom these people. They get them when they're like in their 20s or whatever, and they put money behind these people. That's the reason why they're so hard to beat. And they give them a script, they give them a platform, and this is what they need to stand for. If they're a Democrat, this is what you need to stand for. These are your talking points. If you're Republican, this is what you need to stand for. These are your talking points. And I know it's great. We had exchanged some dialogue about Wes Moore that's running for governor there. Well, I already knew about him a long time ago. I knew where he was coming from because they've been grooming him. I think he wrote a book when he first got out of the military. That was maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. He's been on MSNBC, so I knew it. And these people aren't a bit more going to do anything for us. They're not going to do anything for Black people. They're not going to have a Black agenda, because they're just following along with the talking points and the platform that is already cookie cut for them. That's what they're going to run off. And so we, as a grassroots, we have to start organizing and pulling our money together, getting our message together, and start running our own people. And I know sometimes it may seem a little discouraging because it seems like it's going to take us a long time to get there. And hey, but we got to start. We really have to start. And I want to say, Miss Great and Newstoter, add me to that list to help in any way that I can, because I am sick of this SHIT too. They have been moving in these immigrants up here. I live in northern Kentucky, so and Kentucky's not even a sanctuary state, but Cincinnati is a sanctuary city, and so I am right, just south of it, right over the bridge. And so I'm thinking these people are either coming in from Cincinnati, but they're working here. I see them in the store. They're living here now. Over the last year, I can't even go to my store anymore. I don't even know where I am anymore. And this is northern Kentucky. This is a predominantly white area, but it's just out of nowhere. It just happened. It just like overnight, it just happened. I mean, when I go to the grocery store now, they started having food there that's in Spanish. You know, the labels are in Spanish, and so I was approached by a young boy and a woman that was with him that I don't think wasn't even his mother, and they were like, "Oh, we need help." You know, they were like panhandling out in front of the. So things are changing here, and they just changed overnight. But I do know that our governor got some money. They call it a surplus, right? And this is where you guys need to watch out and see what's happening in your states, because they said that Kentucky had a surplus of money. I'm not sure where this money came from. You know, some of it could have been from the pandemic or whatever. But it seemed to me like if they have a surplus of money, that you need to put that back into your communities here in Kentucky. Kentucky's not exactly a rich state, but they're using this surplus of money and investing in immigrants. And these people are coming in, and you know the kind of jobs they have here in Northern Kentucky. There's an industrial park, and there's all kinds of manufacturing jobs. Those jobs have to, at the very minimum, probably start off about $17 an hour. And we have an Amazon and a Wayfair distribution center right around here by the Cincinnati airport. And that's where they're working. And you cannot tell me that there are not any black youth that don't live in the Cincinnati area that cannot benefit from those jobs. And I'm sorry, I ran it, went on. But anyway, I'll go ahead and I'll land from there. Thank you.
Oh no, sister, I came back and I was listening. You're great. And also another state that has a surplus of money. And I seen the political ads because I'm here in Tallahassee, so we're not far from South Georgia and also Georgia. That another state that has a surplus of funds and stuff like that as well too. So definitely, like you say, something that surplus it needs to be reinvested into these communities, these neighborhoods, and training and education and housing and everything else. So when you have that surplus, you need to go ahead and invest that right back into the actual people. So I'm in definitely agreement with you. Like you say, I know you say you want to be added to that too. Miss Great Ape, we can add us, add DJ. Ray, I'm sure Ray, if he has time, he'll be more than willing or whatever. Like I said, we can go ahead and start trying to do things because we see that our elected officials, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to do anything unless they actually push and threaten to actually do something. If it's going to cost them money and a chance to lose their position and power like that, then you'll get a response out of them. But any other time, they're fine with exactly what's happening. They may sit here and say something like that. As long as them and their inner circle, their family and their friends are taken care of or whatnot, they can care less exactly how the rest of the people live. So we've seen it time and time again and whatnot. And the jumbo, I put the Newstoter YouTube link as well as the newsletter to the far left. The last two circles to the far left, if you guys could go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel and also subscribe to the newsletter. That would be a great thing right there. Put out a newsletter maybe once a month sometimes. I don't put it out a whole lot because I put out a bunch of content. So I don't want to put out a newsletter every week because that it seems to drive people away. So, but if you guys could go ahead and subscribe to the actual newsletter and also subscribe to the YouTube channel, that would be a great, great plus. That's in the Jumbotron right now. So if you guys want to take a minute, if you could, all you got to do is just click the links, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the newsletter, support the largest curator of black news today in America, which is Newstoter.com, the largest black American news curation platform today in America. And that is $Newstoter. Trevor, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, everybody. Good evening to the room.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. You know what? The sister that was just on took every last single, very one of my talking points. I mean, she said everything I was getting ready to say, but only in the state of South Carolina. I moved up to the city in 2007. I moved back here from Boston. And I was trying to tell people then about the immigrants coming in. I don't tell people this a lot of times because a lot of times people don't really understand when you're living in small towns, you got to do the work that's available. So I lived in a blink you miss it town. So I was working with my husband in his uncle's watermelon field. Now, it's a little embarrassing, but it is what it is. We had to make that money. We worked there for him for a little while. He was kind of cutting us out of our funds. So we went to the white man's field next door, and we made an arrangement, an agreement for both of them, because at first he didn't really want me to work because I was skinny, but he didn't realize that little skinny girls, we got good grip, you know. So we made out a deal, you know, for both of us to come in. Once he seen the work we put out, he paid us more. Okay, we worked for a good month. And one day, in the middle of the day, he fired the whole crew. Nothing but, this is basically, it's a lot of white folks in town, but it's basically a black town. He fired the whole crew in the middle of the day. Why? Because he had 2 school bus loads of Mexicans who came in, and he was bragging about having to pay $100 for the bus load. So he essentially paid $200 for about 60, 70 workers, because those bus loads was packed up. And I was telling people then, this is getting ready to be a problem.
How long ago was that, sister? How long ago was that again?
This was in 2007.
Wow.
2007. And so a lot of people, you know, a lot of our people, especially here in the South, they you know, we still got that don't want to rock the boat mentality. You know, so nobody wanted to say anything. Nobody really wanted to complain about it until they seen what it was we were saying when right after the Mexicans came with the busload, okay, they started moving out families on that block that his mom had lived on. Families moved out. They was buying up them old houses, abandoned houses, and guess who they moved in? They moved the Mexicans in. Now, you moving out black families who have been living there for years to move the Mexicans in. So let's fast forward all the way up until now. Now I'm in Colombia. I've watched 5 families on my block being moved out. 3 houses so far has been rented out, and it's nothing but Mexicans. It's an all-black neighborhood. Everybody in the neighborhood is generational. I've been out here for 13 years. I'm the newcomer out here. Everybody, you know, because everybody out here is generational. Their grandmama lived out here. Their mama lived out here. But they're starting to systematically move us out of our places and move them in. My house just got sold. My landlord told me a couple of months ago, I don't know when you're going to have to move out. You might can stay until your lease is up, but I just sold the house. I just sold all my houses on your block. When the new man came to inspect my house, I was talking to him because I thought he was the owner, but he was the inspector that they sent. So I'm questioning who is the person that bought the house? You know, what's going to happen? When do I have to move? Because I have no information. And he said, well, it's a corporation, and what this corporation does is, you know, they go from state to state and they buy up a lot of homes. So this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with corporations that are going from state to state, buying up homes and systematically removing us and replacing us. Nobody is paying attention, not even the people on my block. Now, I know about 5 years ago that the elders in the community, I do participate in the community meetings. The older people was trying to tell everybody then, you need to buy your homes out here because things are changing, but they wouldn't say really what it was, you know, but they knew, you know, because a lot of people die off and they don't have kids to leave they homes to, or they got kids that's on drugs that just do whatever with the homes and the little wherever. But I'm watching it, and the man told me out of his mouth, it's corporations buying homes. My own landlord owned 3 or 4 houses in my neighborhood. He sold all of them to this one person, to this one group. 2 of the families have already moved out of their homes. I'm the last one still left. The house next door to me, the girl had to move out abruptly. She was there one day, she was gone the next. I seen 2 Mexicans over there the other day. I was a little bit shit, and I ain't gonna lie. Because what they do is they change the demographic of the neighborhood. I live in a neighborhood where it's a lot of old elder folks, so everybody keep their lawns looking nice. Mexicans done moved in, and y'all know how we do with our clothesline. They go to the back of the house. They got them suckers to the front of the house and to the side of the house. When they move in, you see about 3 or 4 or 5 people. Once they move in, you see about 20 of them. Now let's move to the Ukrainians. Ukrainians are in this area. You're talking about South Carolina. See, people keep talking to us, oh, that's not in the South yet. Quit playing. They've been here. Like the lady, Queen Bee was saying, everything has changed. After the pandemic, a lot of things have changed. Why you used to go to my local store up the street from me. It's a truck stop, but it's my favorite spot to get my coffee. It used to be nothing but brothers and white boys up there in the morning time working. Now when I go up there, I gotta run into nothing but I don't even recognize where I'm at. It's nothing but Mexicans up there and Ukrainians. I made the mistake of calling two of them Russians because of their language, and he turned around with an attitude. I'm not Russian, you're Ukrainian. How they talk. What got me was why I said something to them was because he took his money and he threw it on the counter. I had to check a white boy in the store about that, him and his woman. I had to check them one day. Now I had to check the Ukrainians because the cashier's scared to say something. But Cookie's not scared to say anything. I'm the first one to speak. They some rude suckers. They act like they own this country already. And we have got to pay attention. There was a couple of sisters that were speaking before I got on the mic, and I couldn't see their names. Things we got to figure it out. We got to look at what white people do to get attention. Just like when they wanted to go on Wall Street and they did their little walk, whatever that thing they did back in the day, where they went and sat out there and they got the media's attention. But we know the media is our enemy. But we got to show up. We got to do big. If we got to do another Million Man March so that we can get our issues out there. If we got to show up during this election time where they're having town halls and take them suckers over. We have got to do something. We've got to do it, and we got to do it in a big way, and we got to do it soon because it's not going to get no better. They got money, like Newstoter, like you've been saying, they got money for everything. They got money for everybody. I had to do an assignment in my class the other day to find social services jobs before I get my degree in a couple of months. So I'm looking for jobs in the human resource field. So I'm looking, and you know what I see that they need a whole lot of? They need a lot of human resources for these Afghanistan groups, for the Ukrainian groups, for all of these other non-black groups. They really need a lot of people to come in and work in these coalitions for and that's I seen so much of that. I got disgusted. I was so mad. But it's a lot going on, and we have got to get offline, and we have got to meet up. We've got to do something, but we got to do it. We all got to get on the same page. I've been listening to a few spaces today. Well, all of that extra noise in the background noise, we gotta shut that down, and everybody gotta shut their egos down and find a way to come together because there's some bigger things at play. And I'm gonna land my plane on that.
Yes, ma'am. I'm in agreement with you. You got to kind of put the ego to the side and try to get the work done and whatnot. And you'll find on social media and Twitter and all these other apps and stuff like that, we got a lot of egos that we got to kind of go ahead and put on the back burner if we really serious about trying to put this work in here and whatnot. So that we try to have some informative spaces here. We're trying to go ahead and let our people go ahead and build and try to actually do something worthwhile and positive and constructive and whatnot. So we definitely appreciate you. And I love to hear the sisters just go in like that too. So that's always a great thing. We're gonna go to original, and then we're gonna go to Miss Grade 8 again.
Yeah, give that sister her flowers because she definitely spitting that fire. Because I go through the same thing over here in stinking ass New Jersey. But go ahead, original.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said, it's all over. And like I said, when remember that postcard I had you to post, DJ, with the pictures of the brother and sister that was who had been lynched. I think we may have to go. Yeah, we may have to go and start doing things like that and confronting these people because I'm still looking to try to find some people here in Atlanta, but for the most part, people here in this city, they are Democratic shield. It doesn't matter if they're in media or whatever, and they don't want to rock the boat. They're in the belief that, now I know there are some out there, I just haven't encountered them yet, So I'm looking to try to find at least, like Newstoter said, about 10 people, whereby we can go in as a group, like when I worked with people in LA, we would go in as a group. And if one person would ask a question, we wouldn't go into the forum together. And if one person would ask a question, if they shot them down, another person would, raise their hand and get a turn, and they present that same question. If they shoot it, we just kept going around that circle until we had to force them to address this question. And so they've got so comfortable because they've been using those perception management tactics on us. And so now we just have to use those same tactics on them and make it work for us. Because there's no any reason why we should have the amount of elected officials that we have in this country. We're on the local, state, and national, and we're in the position that we're in because they got these groups out there, like they got you can tell, like this, the one group, this People's Agenda. I think they're like a Democratic Shield. They're supposed to be nonpartisan because they have they do voter registration and da 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 da. But still, they operate as Democratic Shield. A lot of it's like Stacey Abrams has an organization, and it's supposed to be nonpartisan, but we all know it's nothing but another Democratic Shield. And then you look at a lot of these groups, and this is why I don't really like to join these organized groups because they're bought and paid for. You got this group called the Working Family Party. They sent me a text message once, and I started doing research, find out they get their money from George Soros. And you find group after group after group, and politician after politician, they're getting the money from these outside sources. But as I tell people, it doesn't matter how much money they raise. If they don't get the vote, they're not going anywhere. And we have the vote. And that's what we need to kind of focus on is that if we can begin to support some of these people on the local, state, and national level and making sure that they're going to get in there and serve us and not someone else, we will begin to move. But until that start happening, we're gonna be like this. So if you hear somebody here that's in Atlanta that's on they have the same mindset as we do, let me know because I'm looking to get more involved and do things in a manner that they hadn't been done in a long time. Because like I said, you got a lot of people here in this city, and some of them been around for a long time, say they're community activists or whatever. But when you listen to them, they're in support of the illegal aliens and everybody else. And and then we're being massacred out here. But I'm looking for someone who's of the new media type. That they're black first, they're FBA, they're freedmen or whatever they want to call. But as long as they're of the new media type, I'm not looking to connect with the old folks or the old thinking young people because they are a detriment to us. And I'll land on that.
Absolutely, brother. And the way things are now with the internet and with social media and the ability to actually share information and Zoom and everything else, that even though you might be in Atlanta and maybe who knows, once we get things rolling, once we go ahead and start doing things offline and whatnot, who knows, maybe we might be able to have something that goes beyond just the actual state borders and stuff like that as well too. So that's always something. Just got to go ahead and start putting this stuff into play and see how I can go ahead and we can do it. We're gonna go Miss Grade 8, then we're gonna go Lyle. Don was going to be DJ was going to be next, and then Don. When Don, if he comes back in here, we'll go ahead and let him get a chance to speak as well too. So, Miss Grape, hey, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Now, this very moment, that will take minimal effort, is check the Jumbotron. I posted Denise Long, who's been in national publication talking about immigration and how it impacts us. I posted Mike Braggs. He's an amazing. He's all over it in terms of taking care. He's a former rapper, and he's talking. Who recently put a job announcement out to hire a Latino curator. Yeah, you heard that right. So we need all of you to sign that petition, because we don't need a Afro-Latino curator at the National African American Museum of Heritage and Culture in Washington, D.C. That's some bullshit. We've got the Holocaust Museum that was started way before our museum, and they would never put out a job description for something that didn't relate to the Jewish Holocaust. So please check the Jumbotron. Nas Escobar, he's big on immigration tweets. He is a powerhouse. Please follow him. Please support him. And then, I posted something regarding Wes Moore. He's half FBA, running for governor for Maryland. He has yet to talk about anything regarding us. Okay? He's talked about Jewish people, Mediterranean people, Asian people. If I know we're all overwhelmed, the least we can do is follow these accounts and hold them accountable publicly, because the word will get out that way. So I just wanted to make that point. Trouble from Birth, Queen Bee, and Newstoter, I've got you. We're all going to connect, and we'll figure this out. We'll put talking points together. We'll create something easy so that we can get FBA the resources they need to easily hold public officials accountable. And I land my plane. Thank you.
Thank you again, sister. I appreciate you. Yeah, let's go ahead and start putting this stuff down. Start putting it to action. I believe Aunt La, you next. Go ahead, Aunt La. You there, Aunt La?
Hello, how you doing? I'm here. I'm just like multitasking, doing a whole bunch. I got in a little late, but I'm gonna be really quick. That's hard for me, but I'm gonna try. In regards to what the sister was saying in regards to immigration, in Hogansville, Georgia, it's exit 28 off of 85 south, an hour away from Atlanta. That's the town my great grandmother, the slave plantation where, I could trace my roots back there, because literally on the land that the slave plantation, my grandparents built a house. They bought the land and built a house and named the street after us. So all my life, I went back home to Hogansville. My grandfather passed away in 1994. We had to file a lawsuit to get him buried in the cemetery down the street because it was on whites only. And my great grandmother was a years old. We why she got to go to LaGrange for the black cemetery when she lived right down the street. So we won that. There Mexican restaurants in this town, and it's just like, like what she was saying, like she was on point. She was just on point. Like she just, it was on point. Like this town that I literally can trace my family roots to slavery. There's Mexican restaurants like everywhere. And I was like, where are we at? Is it little it's just was like shocking. And I was there like last week, the first week in September. It's just like, wow. It's not just California. It's not just Texas. It's really an issue. But that's it. I land my plane.
Thank you, sister. Appreciate you as always. Queen B, go ahead. DJ, we're going to get deep, but let's let Queen B go.
No, I was just going to just quickly just comment that, this is some low-key stuff they're doing, because they're, what they do cover about these immigrants is that they're saying, they're going to New York. They're making it sound like they're only going to these large cities. But they are bringing them, to me, I'm thinking like with Northern Kentucky of all places. But then I went and I found on a website, there's a place, it's like one of these Catholic places or something where they help refugees settle or something. And I went to their website, and it said that they were helping, with the immigrants in the Northern Kentucky area, which again is part of the Cincinnati population. Louisville area, which is the largest city in Kentucky, and Lexington, which is the second largest city in Kentucky. So they've covered their bases. So this is happening throughout the state of Kentucky. But I also wanted to say too, you know, I know there's people talking about them being in Tennessee, and I believe that this is their way really of trying to long-term strategy is to flip these red states blue. If they can flood them and get enough people in here, which again, the Democrats would be the ones, to me, spearheading this, especially Texas, because you know that's their that's the one they want. That's really the only Republicans. That's their cash cow. If they lose Texas, it's over. So I think the strategy is to get them in here, get them in the South, and you know while we're focused, you know, why they're saying, hey, look over here, look up north, look at New York, look at New Jersey. You know, look at Chicago, look at California. We're busy going to some city council meetings, and I don't have any school-age children anymore. My son is a grown man, but I want to know what's going on because I know all these white folk here ain't happy about it. Because it's just like you can't just bring a bunch of people into your community and then overrun your schools. You know what I'm saying? And all of that. So, and it's getting to the point here where in the stores, when you get ready to like if you go I think it's a Burlington Coat Factory or something, and so they have you wait in this long line, and then they call you up to the next cash register. But they're now starting to repeat everything in Spanish. So I'm like, wait a minute. So anyway, again, I'm not going to go I won't just keep ranting on it. But yeah, I think we just need to all watch out and be diligent and stay involved in our local governments and you know, before they really, I mean, they're not even putting stuff on ballots. They're not having any discussions. The media's not even really covering it. So I don't know. It's kind of happened right under the radar. So I'll land.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate having you again. DJ, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hold up, I need a minute, all right?
Okay. Ray, I hadn't heard from you in a minute. You got something you want to add? I know Ray might be in the Matrix. Ray, you there? Yeah, I think Ray might be in the Matrix. So yeah, pretty much, you know, you guys, like I say, this is something like we're gonna have to just go ahead and start doing on our own. We can't really depend on the actual politicians anymore. I look forward to Ms. and Queen Bee and me and DJ and some of the other guys, original, some of you in here, we getting together and we just putting our heads together and see exactly how we can go ahead and start. I know my man Rob, he's up in here. Rob, I know you follow Newstoter on YouTube as well too, so appreciate that as much. Just like putting our heads together and trying to do something. Like you got your hand up, go ahead and unmute your mic.
I was just saying, yeah, me too. Don't forget about me.
Oh yeah, we know you fighting against the entire state of New Jersey, so we know that you're a rider and you'll go ahead and do it. So we'll definitely go ahead and, like I say, and anybody else that wants to as well too. I mean that's serious minded. We definitely don't have time for the games or anything like that. Definitely the tribalism that we see on social media that just eats our people up. It's supposed to be actually putting out newsworthy content and actually trying to actually motivate the masses and whatnot, but we definitely don't have time for all of that. That's one thing in the space that we just try to go ahead and try to stay not only on, all the side distractions. At the end of the day, they don't mean anything, and all they do is just keep us in the same predicament. So we definitely want to go ahead and get away from that. We want to move forward. We want to do things just simply because of technology. You know, we don't necessarily have to be in the same state or the same city as someone to actually go ahead and start forming things and doing things and start with the grassroots and stuff like that. We've seen that. We've seen it with politics. We see it with so many different things online now. So we can go ahead and we can do a number of things that before, even 20 years ago, would have been impossible. I mean, we ain't got to go back 30 years ago. 20 years ago, when the internet was basically, when most people probably in this space didn't even have the internet, or you had AOL, that you had to dial up and stuff like that. We can do stuff now that you just couldn't do at that time because there was no social media, and the networking online and stuff like that was not really a thing that could be done. So now we have advantages and stuff that other people just did not have before us. We need to go ahead and take advantage and use it to our advantage as well too. So, DJ, you still doing something? I think DJ might have.
Yeah. Fortunately, I don't have to mute my mic for tonight, yo. But everybody's saying everything right. The sisters flame the show for tonight. We agree to agree, and as far as getting together, doing things, my one narrative I'm doing right now is what I call, selling reparations without selling it. If you have sales experience and you have the data, the information surrounding reparations, you could go literally sell it to the people and give them the information for free. Hey, look, fam, did you know this, that, and the third? So I do physical media. Anybody need anything printed up, just call me. Newstoter out.
Absolutely, y'all. And we will be back tomorrow. Ray, you there? Hey, Ray, you there?
Yeah, he could be on the phone call himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think and let me, before we leave, I would say shout out, thank you, Charlie, for your contribution on Cash App. It's greatly appreciated. I definitely appreciate it, Charlie. So thank you for supporting the content and supporting Newstoter.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I kept trying to get you. I didn't know if you was at Ray. I need you to hit the judge up when you get a chance to, because I hit him up earlier, so I'm just trying to confirm for tomorrow, and I didn't hear anything back. So you get a chance tomorrow, go ahead and hit him up and see if he's still going to be able to come through.
Okay. Do me a favor. I'm sorry. Do me a favor. Can you send me a text tomorrow? The reason being is they have some type of school function tomorrow. Okay. And, I got to get up at 2:30 in the morning for work. So with me doing that, and by the time I get off, I'm probably going to try to take a nap, and I got that. So I don't want to forget. So please, if you could, just send me a quick little text, and I'll make sure I text them.
Oh, yeah, I'll text you. I'll text you early just so you can go ahead, because I know the judge, you having a bunch of stuff to do. So I'll go ahead and text you tomorrow, man, at least around about 10 o'clock or so, just so you can have it.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess I'm sorry to get caught up with work. Sometimes I just forget to do stuff. I need to start writing stuff down.
Oh, no problem, man. I know you're busy. Everybody's busy, so... And let me just, like I say, thank you, Charlie, for your contribution on Cash App. If anybody else wants to contribute, that's $Newstoter. That's $Newstoter. Once again, $Newstoter. On that note, if anybody's in the space, make sure that you're following the host and the co-host. What we need to start doing in these spaces, everybody needs to start trying to follow somebody that they feel like they can click up with. So definitely start following people in the spaces. Use this as a networking opportunity as well. Once again, I thank everybody for coming. You guys know 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Thursday, is when Newstoter goes on the spaces. So we'll be back tomorrow night. We're trying to see if we're going to have the judge in, if not tonight, or maybe if not Wednesday or Thursday. So we're going to try to go ahead and see if we can confirm something with Judge Joe Brown, if we can get him. If not, we're going to just do our regular spaces. So once again, we appreciate you guys coming in, supporting the content as always. Thank you so much. Make sure that when we send out that content, that you go ahead and you tweet it out, you retweet it, you like it, you comment. You also make sure that you please visit Newstoter.com daily, largest curator of Black news. If you guys on the website, sometimes you may have to go ahead and disable your actual pop-up blocker to actually read the entire article. So if you're clicking on the actual read more and it won't go, then you're gonna have to probably disable, because it's stopping the actual not the pop-up, but I can't think of the name of it, but it's dealing with the actual pop-up. So make sure that you guys disable your pop-up blocker if you're having issues clicking on and reading the entire article. So thank you guys once again. Appreciate for having you guys. We will see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So everybody, y'all have a good night, and until then, please be safe.